Morning everyone, this is Chris Ensor at Richmond Farm. Just doing a bit of the first shift of the morning. The main and pretty well only mob. This mob is about 1200 ewes, just under 1200 ewes, just over 1300 lambs, and just over 300 hoggets. We did end up getting rid of a few of the smaller hoggets just because of the dry. So yeah, we're carrying a few fewer this year. Yeah, we're kind of almost a week. There's a little one with a bit of scald, which is not very good for its little feet. We're kind of just almost a week into our second rotation. The pasture has really picked up in the last couple of days because we had 20 mils, which isn't usually considered a massive rain, but it's the most we've had in almost 4 months. Today, the 20 mils was 2 days ago on the 27th of October. The last time we had a rain that big was June 29th, so pretty much exactly 4 months ago. So yeah, we really needed it, and we could do it a little more. We did actually, funnily enough, if you can look down at this feed here, you can see that there's a little bit of moisture on there. We got a mil of rain last night, a little bit of a shower. It was actually just, heavy spits, but came through just to remind us that it still does happen. It wasn't just a freak incident. Anyway, so I guess I just sort of show this. This is what we're going on to. We'd like to be going on to slightly denser sward, but we're not. The cocksfit's looking pretty good. It's pretty well recovered. You can see all those tips are pretty good. There is still one or two that's not entirely recovered, tiny bit looser in there. But all of these are nice and pointy. It's not going to focus on it. Nice and pointy. What we do, our limitation in a lot of our paddocks is that we're basically sub-clover filling the gaps between the cocksfit. And so if you look, there's a ewe's just taken a couple of bites out of that since she's been here. She's quick to that point, quick to those tips. If you look in the gaps, there's not much, so you can kind of see that once that sub-clover's gone, sub-clover is an annual clover, and it dies back. You can see that it's actually the white flowers there, the sub-clover. Once it dies back, we're pretty much where it's been grown is a gap. And so ideally we'll be getting, with what we're trying to do here, we'll get a few more perennials filling those gaps. This paddock, I guess I kind of was saying what stock numbers we have. The actual stock that are in this mob, their weight is around 100,000 kilograms, just under. So in this break here, we've got 1.5 hectares, so they're probably sitting around 70,000 kilograms to the hectare, thereabouts. And that's pretty good considering that we're still making reasonable progress with the lambs, I think. We did have a bit of a check because we got a bit too keen on getting into them, but you can kind of see that lamb there's not in bad nick. And overall I think they're doing alright. But anyway, residual wise, I think that's probably not a bad residual to be leaving sort of in the second round. Probably we'd be going on to a bit better covers if we had have had more rain, but we haven't. Ali, that'll do. So that's not a bad residual to be leaving, I don't think. Obviously they camped here last night, so they don't always eat where they camp as well because they only graze in the night, and then because they've walked all over it and camped on it, they don't graze it as well in the morning. But yeah, I think that's pretty good, and they weren't too panicked getting through that gateway, so they're obviously reasonably full. The gut fill on the likes of that ewe there with the tail, this ewe with the, they're pretty full on the left side. You can kind of see none of those are hollowed in at all. Bit hard to tell with the wool, but they're pretty good. So yeah, I guess that's about that for this morning, but yeah, we're still happy with where we're at, considering how dry we've been and how little feed a lot of other farms around here have. I mean, look at these ewes, they're just getting full mouthfuls there, which a lot of properties wouldn't have it. It shows that all this work that we've been putting into the 3 to 4 moves a day is really paying off. You can see why part of the reason we move them so regularly is these ewes are really like honing that feed back, and even though these lambs are there getting a nibble, but the amount that they eat, how aggressive they are as grazers is just not comparable. So the ewes really, if you don't move them that regularly, the ewes just get the best, and the lambs they're still getting the milk, but they just don't get as much good pasture. Anyway, I guess that's about that for now. Here's another one with scald. The scald's kind of picked up in the last few days since it got damp. Damp grass and with a bit of length, it kind of drags between between the hooves and on the lambs, and they get scald quite quickly. Just an irritation, bacterial irritation. It's my understanding anyway. All right, we'll leave it at that. Have a good day, everyone.